Honeysuckle Gelato's cinnamon roll. Honeysuckle Gelato came through with a very strong initial review in the first pint of scoop German chocolate cake, which could have been even better, but the mix-ins needed a little bit of work. On to the second review, we've got cinnamon roll, which is a vanilla frosting gelato with a cinnamon caramel swirl and cinnamon crumble. As I said previously, for a gelato base, this is some pretty creamy and dense stuff. In fact, it felt so heavy to me that I weighed it and it came in at over a pound. Now, I mistakenly forgot to mention in the first review that that was a vegan flavor, so no milk and cream. This one, however, is not vegan. So we have milk and cream involved in the gelato, but I still can't tell a difference in the, I'm gonna say, creaminess of the base, which goes to show you how well they execute their vegan flavors. The vanilla frosting gelato can best and easily be compared to just like a vanilla icing, a buttercream icing on any cake. I'm not gonna say the vanilla isn't noticeable because I can definitely taste it, but it wasn't as strong as I was expecting. And that's probably due to the frosting portion of the gelato because it finishes extremely buttery and is also sweet as expected. I never came across just the cinnamon crumble. It was always combined into that cinnamon caramel swirl. Not a big deal. However, there was more cinnamon caramel swirl than there was the actual crumble. The crumble did have a nice tiny grit to it, almost like an even finer gravel. But like I just said, I found myself wanting more and more of it. As for the caramel, it's far from the densest swirls I've ever scooped, but there was more than enough to get the job done. Here's the deal with the flavor of the swirl. Without the crumble, it's a very mild cinnamon flavor, and think more of like an actual caramel, that buttery caramelized sweetness. However, with the crumble in that said swirl, it's a pretty intense cinnamon flavor. Not overboard by any means, but definitely kicked up a few notches. For the most part, every component of this pint is pretty well executed. I think my biggest, I don't know if I want to say issue or drawback, is that the vanilla frosting gelato, it just has a strong, buttercream icing or buttercream frosting taste. I just feel like I'm eating the frosting off of a cake. I think what would have suited this a lot better is a cream cheese based frosting or icing in that gelato, because that's just typically what's served on top of a cinnamon roll. Nonetheless, it's still a very good scoop. 8 out of 10.